This beautiful farm near Coldstream on the Scottish border has been home to Thomas Todd and his family, along with their menagerie of cute pets, for over 35 years. Thomas largely works the 720 acres of arable land himself, with the family helping out when needed. He was the first farmer to sign up to the Cefetra Ecosystem Services programme. So we've come along to find out how he does things. Farming sustainably here is not without its challenges. This picturesque glacial pond is an important SSSI, which Natural England are keen for Thomas to preserve in its purest state. So, aside from the alpacas, there's no livestock on the farm to produce organic matter for the soil, as the risk of runoff contaminating the water is too great. But that's not the biggest problem that Thomas has had to overcome.
Well, we bought this farm in '88. It was on a plough-based system. Everything was ploughed, powered and then drilled. The biggest problem we had was we're very light sandy soil here. We're over 60% sand on this farm, and it blows. When the wind comes, it can blow. We had a field of soil blew really badly and it blocked the main road, and we had to use the forklift to clear the soil off the road. The police closed the road and we had to scrape all the soil back off the road again, and that was when we decided we can't plough anymore. It's going to just blow away every year. So we have to do something different. So the idea, we started going down the min-till route about 25 years ago, and it's worked really well. We don't have soil blow anymore. Our organic levels have come up. In that the first year the yields all went up, and the reason the yields went up was moisture retention. We hadn't lost any moisture in the ground, and the soil was that bit damper, and the roots were better. As a result, we very quickly changed the whole farm over to a min-till system, and the 5-year average yield increased a tonne a hectare across every crop on the farm.
Jason Hayward-Jones joins Thomas for a closer look at how the minimum tillage regime is working.
So Thomas, talk to us about this field here. It was harvested yesterday.
This field was spring barley, crop of spring barley planted in early April, and it was just harvested yesterday, and it was actually also cultivated yesterday. It was cultivated by a disc machine, and it was done to about a depth of 2 inches, and just mixed the straw in.
And as you mentioned earlier, it's not all brown.
Yeah, it's definitely not all brown. It's got a fair mix of straw on the surface, straw mixed in with the soil, and the plan is this will be, as soon as it dries up again, this will be going into winter oilseed rape and drilled. And
last night there was a lot of rain, and we're seeing now it's all gone, it's all drained in. It feels quite springy.
We had 30 mil of rain last night, and there's no water lying in the field. It's not even sticking to our boots, which is surprising.
And so grab a handful so we can see it's actually gone, it's soil and straw all together.
It's all mixed up. But you can see here, the soil, even though it's wet, it's still breaking up. It's got a right mix of straw through it. This will all break down in the next couple of months for the worm count.
And that's a massive amount of organic matter going back into the soil, which helps with what?
Yeah, it'll help retain the water for later in the year. It'll help feed the worms and the beasties that we need, and just improve organic matter throughout.
So from this state now to planting, it's fairly simple, right?
Yeah.
It's just a direct drill.
We use a vadostat, and we just direct drill into this. It's fairly straightforward. It gets rolled and then just gets a pre-emergent spray. This actually is also getting companion crop put with it. So this will have bushing clover with some buckwheat.
As well as companion planting, Thomas makes extensive use of cover crops to improve his soil.
So what are we looking at here?
This was a field of winter wheat. It was harvested about 3 weeks ago, and again the straw was chopped on the surface, and then vadostat drill came in and drilled a cover crop into it. And in this cover crop we have a mixture of about seven different varieties.
Let's test your species identification.
So we've got buckwheat here, We've got Phacelia coming up here. We've got linseed coming up here. Some of these will be oil radish. It's growing nicely. This was drilled about 2 weeks ago, and this will be well established. Within another month it'll be about a foot tall, and by what we would call begin the winter, November, December, it'll be knee high anyway.
And then what happens? Knee high cover crop, protected the soil over the winter, done its job. What happens then?
Well, this will grow throughout the winter. This is my green manure, so I have no natural manures going on other than green manure. This will go in, and then in the spring this is going into spring barley in about hopefully the first week of March. And again, the Vadestad drill will just come in and just drill straight into this.
Okay.
Some of it will have disappeared by then with frost, because some of it don't all survive the frost. And there'll be no cultivations done, it'll just be direct drilled.
So when we talk about a cover crop to our customers, we sell the low carbon grains too. When we say cover crop, they have a hard time picturing that and what its function is, but we can see across this field there's a green hue of plants, live plants growing. They're only 2 weeks old, but they're doing something really important.
They're providing food for the worms, they're providing food for all the insects, and they're providing ground cover, and just when it comes to when they'll eventually die off in next spring, they're actually providing organic matter as well. So their roots alone are increasing organic matter. Their top growth is increasing organic matter, and believe it or not, that's growing. So what does that use? CO2.
CO2 is going into the soil with this cover crop. It's absorbing it, it's going down into the roots, it's locking it away.
Yeah, it is.
With the harvest in, the grain stores are nicely filled with the end product of all this endeavour.
And this is where the appreciation of a tonne of grain, we have lots of tonnes here, and the Cefetra Ecosystem Services program creates certificates by virtue of you farming in a climate positive way. So we have a pile of wheat, a tonne of wheat, and certificates, and our program insets those certificates to the grain, and that's the product we sell to our end customers. That's the way those big companies at the end of the supply chain benefit, because every tonne of this grain they buy with the certificates attached means that their scope 3 emissions are reduced by that same amount. So this is the currency really of the Cefetra Ecosystem Services program. The wheat and the carbon certificates put together, that's what it's all about.
While Thomas welcomes the financial rewards, farming sustainably has proven to be beneficial in many other, more holistic ways.
We're soil mapped, fully soil mapped, and soil structure, soil health has drastically improved. Our organic levels have gone from very low. We were 1% when we bought the farm. We're now up to about almost 5%, and that's firstly without muck. It's without manure. It's all through cover crop and chopping straw and putting it all back in again. We used to struggle to find a worm. We're now, you dig a spadeful, you're getting 15-20 worms at no trouble. The soil smell actually smells really nice, whereas we used to have that stale, stagnant smell. On the farm we have lots of breeding pairs of lapwings. We have a lot of grey partridges, and all that's down to insect life, beetle life. Partridges love all that. The lapwings, again, they seem to thrive on the farm. The numbers have vastly increased over the last couple of years, and it's proven to be, I think, a healthy environment for everything involved. We feel better because we are not burning loads of diesel, burning metal off, and we just enjoy what we do.